from Kirsty about the space and nurturing our space tonight. So that is the subject for tonight, of course, nurture space. So thank you guys all and ladies all for coming and being here in the space with us, because it feels really good to be connected to you, and your support is just being present is super beautiful, even if you didn't say a single word.
Hey, Shealagh.
Yeah.
I used to be a cheerleader.
It's awesome.
Perfect. So, yeah, I think that one of the things that rolled through my head today was that I haven't been introducing myself as Shealagh King, and I just want to do that now. I see Christina's on the line, and I welcome. Thanks for coming and being here again. That's lovely to see your face. And yeah, so just introducing myself, Shealagh King, and hi, Tamra. And of course, the company is A Nurtured Life. And I know that most of you know that, but just I haven't been saying it. So I thought, hey, why should I not say my name? It just seems so simple, but I've been missing it every evening. And I wanted to talk a little bit for a moment just about the season, because of course in this season, in winter season, I'm finding that I'm spending a lot of time indoors. Now there are days like yesterday that were just so gorgeous that the sun was beaming, and it was just, you know, yes, I had to get out there and be in it and enjoy that. But of course in the winter, we do find ourselves inside a lot. So space becomes really more influential when we're in the winter times, in the colder times. And I know that there's Claire, of course, you're in New Zealand, so you're outdoors more, but certainly you know what it's like in the winter. And one of the things that I think about when I'm indoors a lot is you know, how things start to accumulate in the winter time. You know, it's sometimes we wait till spring or till fall to clear things out, and dust accumulates and all that kind of things. And I do, you know that those things really affect me. And it's not just my the breathing, my air quality from the dust, or you know, the clutter getting in my way and maybe being hazardous, but it affects me on the inside. You know, there's something about my nervous system that is attuned to those kinds of things, and I think we all have different levels of attunement when it comes to that, to our space. Some people can ignore a massive amount of dishes, like my cousin has no problem with ignoring those dishes for long periods of time. But for me, it gives me deep anxiety to actually look at a big pile of dishes. So those things really influence us. And one of the things also in this time of the season is the light. You know, when we have less light outside and are using the lights, of course, the different kinds of light bulbs in the space, that also has a big influence on us. So I thought I would start tonight with a practice right now of just actually adjusting your light source. So in whatever way that you see fit, taking the light that you have now in your room and then changing it up somehow, lighter, darker, just and let's check it out and have an experiment around how it affects us, and if we notice anything going on internally when we do this adjustment. So I'm going to do that now. I invite you, yeah, just to take that moment, and once you come back in to your spot, just tune into what happens, what you're noticing now about how you feel internally, if there's anything. You might take that breath and settle into the body and just experience what it's like. Yeah, for me, I want to say that I noticed right away that my whole energy dropped a little bit. I feel more soft and relaxed in the darker room, not so lit up. Does anyone else have that experience? Have an experience of something that happened when the light adjusted? Robin, yeah, Kirsty, yeah, yourself as well, Christina and Lila. Yeah. And now, of course, loving to look at contrast and as we self study what goes on in the body, remembering what happened when we changed the light and now coming back into the different light, coming back to where we were or whatever's comfortable, you know, we don't have to. We don't have to go back to the brightest light we had. We can see what feels good. And so anyone that wants to share something that they noticed. And Robin, you can Kirsty? Yeah, Kirsty has something. If you can, oh, sorry, Claire, if you can, I forgot who my tech host was for a second there.
Well, I love that you brought up lighting because this is something that I for sure share with my clients. Like, I think one of the best investments in a home is dimmers. And I have dimmers everywhere. I even have them in my bathroom. So when I want to have a nice bathtub, I can dim the lights if I want it brighter. Like, every room in my house has dimmers. So yeah, I instantly felt this softening happen and a calmness, and I adjust my lights like a lot because I mostly work from home when I'm not out on the road. And yeah, it's and even not just dimmers, but you know, different lighting. Like, I have a salt lamp, and then I have this pretty pink lamp, and so I don't have it on all the time, but if it makes me cheery. It sparks joy. So when I want a little pink in the room, I put on my little pink light. And
Get up.
so I love that you talked about lighting, Shealagh. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's something that's really primal, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we get instincts to do things when there's more light. We get instincts to stop doing things when there's less light. You know,
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
and or to start to even hoard our food and pack the fridge and the our
Yes.
pantries as the cold season approaches. And these are really primal things that are in the body that we don't consciously typically stay aware of.
Yeah. And yet they activate our nervous system so much. So I love that you brought up that too, because I think of like even lighting a candle and how that makes me feel,
Yeah.
or having a fire, or in the wintertime, at my desk, I have one of those blue lights, I think they're called.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it gives me if it's kind of more of a cloudy day and I'm working and I want to feel like the sun's on me, I turn on my blue light, and like all of those things really, really help me in my space.
Awesome. It's so good to hear that part of it. Just the different. I haven't even heard some of these things, so I want to dig in deeper later. Anyone else that had like wanted to share something about the experience that they had? Because I know a few you did have. And is there anyone that's willing to just say where they're calling in from? I see Lynn there, and I'm curious about her as well. And a couple of you weren't on last night, and so I wanted to just see if anyone just maybe where you're calling from. And I want to say one thing of self nurture that you remember about today. So anyone just use the old school hand signal that can share. Oh, Celeste is up. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Robin, go ahead.
Um, just with the lighting was interesting. It was like Kirsty said, it was calming to turn the lights off, but and I was trying to really get a sense of what it felt like, and there, sitting in the dark, felt quite lonely. And so there was a calm, but it was, I guess, that discomfort as well. So it's much easier sitting in the light. I've got lots of lists and things I've got to go through, and today I kind of just decided to cross a few off and to do things a different way. So for me, it was very much nurture and going, okay, I don't have to do it a difficult way. I can do it a much easier way.
Right.
And feels really good.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. Sometimes with those, it's just having something off of the strain of too many things on the list, and then, okay, knock a few off. And it sounds like that settled something.
Yeah, not having to do it perfectly or how you originally think. Maybe there's another way to do it. Is much more nurturing. Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. Okay. Thank you, Robin. Anyone else that wanted to share something? Leela's
Well,
got.
I would just like to add something to what Robin said, because what you're doing today, Robin, is something that I try to do all the time. And the question that I ask myself is, how can I make this easier on myself? And it's sometimes surprising what comes up from, I don't have to do this, or I don't have to do it now, I don't have to do it this way, or I can ask somebody else to do it. It's sitting in that that not knowing. Yeah. Which I guess is also self-nurtured.
Yeah.
Anything that you did today, Leela, that felt like that for you? Felt like
well, hey, I'm on vacation, so nice long practice, good food, made myself some real chai. Yeah.
Yummy.
Yeah.
So anyone else that just wanted to chime in? I know Lynn's just gonna keep them in observing mode, let's call it, but her presence is certainly felt, so thanks for being here. Yeah, anyone else? Claire, you're all unmuted. Are you ready to go?
Just frame the question for me, sorry.
Yeah, just anything that you did today that felt nurturing. I know
I love to indulge in a wealth walk, and for me that is taking time to consciously engage with the universe and just sort of in that higher power, and I just like to invite that process of saying, you tell me where to go and what's the right thing to do. And so spend a bit of time at the beach, and then doing some calisthenics up on a platform looking out at the sea, which was great.
Love it. And you called that a wealth walk?
Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much.
I can share a little. It's just what Claire just said reminded me of what I did that's nurturing for myself today is, so on the way to work, as you know, Shealagh, we have a parking lot, and then we have maybe a 2-minute walk through the forest to where the building where I work is. And oftentimes I stay in the busy mode of, doing a little bit more work or connecting with home. So I get out of the building and I get on my cell phone as I walk to the car. And then today, because of the time of day it was, the alpenglow was so amazing in the sky, and walking through the forest and the light coming through, that I was like, it was like a big voice saying to me, put your phone in your pocket, put it down and soak this in. And it was soaking in that beauty of the nature, the colors, the textures, and the air. And it was 2 minutes, but it just makes me feel so much better when I do that.
Absolutely. I love that you said that, mainly because I can picture it in my mind's eye. I've walked the walk, and such a special area, and being back there the other day was absolutely just peak experience. Just so being in the trees, just being in the trees and in that wonderful surroundings. Thanks for sharing that. Anyone else? Hi, Dorota. Good to see you.
So yeah, I didn't go to work today. I was teaching in a school this week, and I said to them I won't be able to come in on Wednesday, just because I wanted a day off.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was the most beautiful day today. I woke up to see everything covered in soft snow and pink light, and I went for a walk on the beach at Findhorn with some friends, and it was just bliss. It was really the most gorgeous day. And then one friend took it out to lunch. We had a huge feast. And then afterwards, in the afternoon, after we'd been walking, we went swimming in this really warm pool overlooking the sea. And then for dinner as well. So the entire day it was just gorgeous. But the thing is, I'm simultaneously on an online conference. So I was able to tune into it from time to time just by putting in earbuds and hold on the phone. So really I was working all day. But then I was out and being with people. So it was such a lovely way to, you could call it multitask, but I was slipping in and out of different worlds. And I think the blessing here is to see that you can have a global life like we're doing right now. We're all connected. I'm in Findhorn, you're in Canada. I've sent this to people in China as well. And we're having this global life, and yet we're all simultaneously in our individual bodies and having our own really joyful individual experiences. So I've been even though it's 2
Great. Well, thank you all for sharing just the sparkly bits of your day, because we hear the stories and being present to each other now. I can certainly feel Dorota when she's talking about the beauty of her day, and Celeste and Claire and Leela. So thank you for sharing that. And so, of course, we have Kirsty tonight. I am blessed to have Kirsty in my life. She has been a very influential, cheering support, someone who is just really has a way of creating a sacred space, I want to call it, just because lack of any other words, around her. And so that's the reason why that she is here tonight, to go into a little bit about space and how our spaces can be such a nurturing place and also be a sanctuary as well. So I thought we could talk a little bit first just about your experience. I know you're talking about lighting and how influential that is for you, which is really interesting because we did not talk about that before we did that exercise. So I wanted to see just maybe a story about your own self-nurture, a time when it needed to come first, and then what happened.
Yeah, gosh. Well, I thank you, Shealagh. I'm so happy to be here and always happy to connect with you and your community. And there's so much. This is space is such an exciting topic. Like all day today, I was so excited to get on this call to me, because space is crucial for me. It's it has such a huge impact on my life. So your question was how is space sorry, can you tell me the question again?
Yeah, no, I know. I just wondered about your own experience and when self-nurture had to come first.
Yes.
And then what happened, if there was a catalyst, it was a specific time. Yeah.
I think, there have been many catalysts in my life that have gotten me more and more in tune to my space. And my senses of space and how important space is to me and how to hold it sacred wherever I am. I think some catalysts, came when I was younger, for sure. My, my environment, my family's environment. It's interesting. My dad was very much like a purger, like almost to the point where it would be like a little bit of trauma when he would show up and he'd be in the mood to purge, and it would be like, get your toys, get this. And, you know, we'd be like, no, we don't want to get rid of that. But so he could really let go of stuff. And then my mom is a lot more creative and artsy and likes to have lots of stuff everywhere. And she can take any sort of flat countered space and fill it up. And so I really got this, you know, this combo between the two of them. And I see how it's shown up in different ways. Like I very much, and I see the impact when I have too much clutter around me. And I also see the beauty of how I love to have really beautiful things around me and in my space, and just how it affects my nervous system, my senses. You know, I have, like, for example, today I went and brought, this is one of my favorite plants. So it's winter here where I am. It's going to be -30 this weekend Celsius. And I was like, okay, what can I add to my office? And so I can never say what this plant is, but it's like hyacinth. Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah. So it smells like spring to me. Like it's just so beautiful right now. And so I was looking for something that, you know, is going to, like, if I could have bought a palm tree in the grocery store, I would have bought a palm tree. But it's always, to me, about changing my space, especially where I work. So I hope that.
I'm just gonna, like, I love what you're saying, because, you know, it's certainly on topic. But what I'm really curious about is, was there a specific time where something happened where self-nurture suddenly became like, I have to, or I need to absolutely put it at the top of the list?
Yeah, I think as it relates to space, working, like, very much, I would work really long hours in the past without a lot of stretching or dancing or creating joy around me, and got really in a place of burnout and exhaustion and not having a lot of passion. Like, you know, I just really noticed how by not taking care of myself in those ways and not nurturing myself and not even giving myself, emotional space and connecting with nature and those kind of things. So that would be where it really showed up for me, that I noticed that, you know, this is all part of the self-nurture piece, is really taking care of the time, you know, time to reflect, time to stretch, time to dance, time to listen to a little bit of music. And I also, like, in my coaching with True Nature Leadership, it really is about finding your true way. Like, you know, what is the easiest, what brings you the most joy, what's your way. And for me, in a work environment and in my personal time, I very much need to connect with nature. So all of those, you know, things are very important, and it came, you know, at a price even to my health, where by ignoring, you know, for example, an example would be like, okay, I'm going to go out. I really want to go outside. I'm going to go outside, but I got to get this done first. And so what I really connected to as part of my self-nurture piece is that when that inspiration comes to go outside, it's time for me to take a break and go outside, because I'll actually come back in being a lot more effective in whatever it is that I'm doing, my list of, you know, what I need to do, because of whom I'm now being. And because of the fact that I took the time to self-nurture myself and connect with nature.
Yeah, absolutely. That's wonderful. So I actually remember, just as you were talking about that, an actual story of that happening. And can you tell about, I think it was at the cabin, and you were
Yeah.
really, really focused. Okay, this has got to be done. I am heading towards this goal. This is something that, you know, I've set in front of me, and I'm going to make this happen.
Yeah.
And, you know, and all these things have to be done in order to have that, you know, end result.
Yes.
And then what happened?
So, so I have this beautiful lakefront property at Mamio Beach, Pigeon Lake, that's been in my family since the 1940s. And so in the summer and springtime, I do like to go out there a lot and work. And so one morning I got up and it was absolutely beautiful. The water was crystal glass. The pelicans were out and the ducks were out. And I remember like almost resenting that I had to work that day. And it was like, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. And but my internal voice was like, go for a kayak ride. Like, because the waves on the lake, it can be really flat, crystal glass 1 minute. And then if you wait, you know, till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is what was kind of going on in my brain was, okay, well, I have to wait till I get everything done. You can end up with white caps. So anyway, so I was like, no, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. And the other piece to this is as I was actually thinking about the list of what needed to get done, it was making me tired. I don't know if you can ever relate to that, but it was like, I felt the drain. I felt the burden of it. Like there's times where you feel like, okay, I got to get this done. And there's lots of joy. And so when I'm coaching my clients, it's really about tuning into, are you doing something from a place of joy and passion and, you know, wanting to create it? Or are you doing it from a place of really pushing, like, I have to do this,
Yeah.
you know, versus I get to do this. Like, it's so different. So anyways, I thought, okay, I'm listening to my internal voice. I put everything on hold, put my gear on to go out and go for a kayak ride, and went down to the lake, got in my kayak, went for this beautiful kayak ride, was really just like let go, like intentionally let go of all of the to-do list, got out there, connected with the water, connected with these loons that were on the lake. And as I was out there, I had this massive download, like just, and the other piece is like really being grateful for, you know, grateful to myself, like, thank you self for taking this time, and thank you nature for giving me this beautiful day. And then came this huge download of having retreats out at my lake cabin. And not only that, but it was like, because I was so like juicy, like I was just so, you know, happy, and like all this stuff came. So when I came back in to the cabin, I just grabbed a notebook and I just started writing, and it was just came out of me so easily and with so much flow. And it, you know, it's yeah, it's like I have so many of those moments, but sometimes still it's hard for me to do it. Like, you know, there's something that'll say, no, you got to sit at a desk and you got to work. But I actually got way more accomplished out on that kayak ride than I would have if I had continued to sit there and resent that I had to sit at the table and do
Yeah.
my work, you know?
Weightier and weightier for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. Yeah, I love that. I love the beauty of being able to have the stillness and the quietness to let um, deeper wisdom arrive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let come in what wants to be seen,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and
And I think of
what's really there.
yeah, I think of it like you know, I'm one arm of the conductor of things, and you know, the universe and intelligence of the universe is the other arm. You know, it's not just me having to do the whole show.
Yes.
When I can take that space and time, I think that it really creates a different way of being.
Yeah.
And really, with self nurture, it's finding a way of being with yourself that's more kind, so that we're orienting to something more nurturing. So for instance, I don't know who's watched this tidying up show on Netflix.
Oh my gosh, I
Right?
love it.
Oh, hi, Joanna. Yeah, and I mean, it's just phenomenal to think that when she talks about, she literally gets on her knees, this beautiful Japanese woman, and she thanks the house at the very beginning as she supports. She wrote that book, The Art and Magic of Tidying Up, I think it's called. And so she's doing the show, and she's thanking the house for the protection that it offers, for this sense of containment of our lives, and this that it provides a place for us to wash ourselves and to feed ourselves and to rest ourselves. I mean, the most nourishing thing in the world, this
Yeah.
the space around us. And I want to
And
just
it's so powerful. Like, I love the part where she talks about your office and getting rid of papers or even clothes, and thanking the clothes that you let go of. And like all of these intentional practices are so important, as you mentioned about, really honoring ourselves and taking care of ourselves, and having little reminders, like, like I have little post-it notes that I keep like above my laptop, or little sayings that I like. But it's like these little bits of like, I have one here that's on my desk that says, follow your own path, because that's really a core value for me, is to really be in touch with what's true to me. Or or a little post-it note like, how can this be easy? And I just love how she intentionally, in that series, talks about being grateful, letting go of stuff, and like talking to your things, like connecting to the things that you really love, and in a really intentional way.
Yeah, I had an experience of that when I was thinking, watching her and thinking of my laundry, which is my, Achilles heel. And it stresses me. It's just like this stack of laundry. I'm just like, oh my God, it's getting bigger. And as it mounts, my anxiety mounts. And so I was standing in front of the washing machine in my mind's eye, listening to her and thanking this thing that dries me when I'm cold and wet, and thanking this other thing that keeps me from, lying in my own filth, because the sheets on my bed, keep me from dirtying up the mattress night after night of, sweating and whatever we do. And so, really each piece, this is the thing that protects me from the cold. This is the thing that, these socks, they keep my heat in my body so that I can stay alive. And as I'm doing my laundry in that way, of course, you all can imagine that it shifts internally something, a way of being with your space and your stuff that is now sacred relationship versus another thing I've got to do. And when you shift at that level, that's when things feel more nurturing, right? And yeah,
absolutely. Like I had, for example, today I was, looking around and thinking, oh, what am I going to share about, the space that I work in, and, thinking about the call and everything. And anyway, I cleaned my desk off. Like not paper wise. Well, I mean, I cleaned the papers, but I used this natural orange essential oil with a little bit of water, and I just sort of cleaned my desk. And I've really wanted to feel spring today. And aroma, like essential oils for me, is another way to kind of activate my senses. And it gives me that, it's one of the pleasures, like it's like food, or it just to smell, not so much perfume, but to smell like, organic, like the flowers and this. And it was like amazing after I wiped my whole desk down, how my energy lifted from that. And just brought me joy. And so I love how you said that, because it's all these little things that in your space create love.
Yeah. So is there a little experience that you might guide us through, of just tuning into body or anything like that we might have a chance to experience together, or
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, what I really wanted to do was a dance break. And so another thing for me when I am feeling like I'm pushing, like I've got to get, you know, things done, and it doesn't feel as fun. It feels like, you know, heavy adulting through the day. I'll take a dance break.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that just, it gets me out of my chair, it gets me moving, it makes my body feel good. So I wanted us to listen to one of my favorite songs that I play. I'll see if I can get it going here. And it could be whatever. It could be jumping, it could be stretching, but just like, you know, I actually have it plugged into my phone. I have little reminders throughout the day, and one of them is, how am I feeling? So that I can really connect with how I'm feeling
Mm-hmm.
and get still and connect to that.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is dance breaks. So, and it's, yeah, it's fun. So let me just see if I can pull up all right. So I want everybody to get up. I'm going to take my mic off so I can actually dance. Can you still hear me?
A little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
quiet, but we can hear you.
Okay, all right. So this is my favorite song. So we're gonna get up, stretch, dance, whatever you want to do.
Okay. All righty then. Let's do this thing. Let's make this happen.
Can you guys hear the music okay? A little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it all comes back to you. And you know that it does everything. Maybe more, maybe
So just sit down. A couple deep breaths.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe close your eyes for a second. Feel your breath and feel what that was like for you, and just feel what it brought up for you in your body. And thank your body. Thank you, body. Well done, body. Thank you for letting me dance and feel whatever I was feeling, whether it was joy, excitement, a little bit uncomfortable, feeling like it was a little bit edgy, whatever it is, let's let yourself feel it and just thank your body for that.
Awesome. Thank you. I just definitely needed that at this point in juncture.
Yeah.
Sitting at my computer a lot lately, so putting all the pieces together. And so one of the things I wanted to tune into too is I know I've heard you talk about, you know, when you are in a space with people who are looking for a new space. And I just wanted to circle back to this because it was one of the things that stood out for me when I spoke to you. And when you're in a space and you want to tune to what it is that actually nurtures you in that space. And I know that with your clients, even in your real estate work with it, which is separate, I know, but I've heard you talk about where it's where you help people tune into what really feeds their soul about a space, you know, what really brings them joy. So I thought I can invite people now because we're, you know, we have a little bit of time left to be able to go in and check in with the body to see about how it feels about something in the space right now that you are. So looking around in the space where you are right now, maybe check and see if there's one item that actually sparks joy, right? So there's this idea of sparking joy. And pick out an item in your space that's close to you now, and literally just grab it and pick it up, and then we'll tune into that piece. I'm gonna have to pick something here. Okay, I'm gonna pick something.
I got mine.
Got it. Okay. All right.
Oh, somebody asked, by the way, what the song was. The song was Gypsy, which is Fleetwood Mac. And the reason I love that song is I'm definitely a little bit of a gypsy. And I remember driving to Santa Barbara on a trip that I took with myself, for myself, and I didn't make any plans. Like, I can be a real planner, and I wanted to hit some of my go outside of my comfort zone. So I rented a car, drove to Santa Barbara, had no idea where I was going to stay, and just really like let myself not be planning, not be worrying about where I'm going to be and everything else. And at the end of that trip, I met a girlfriend in Los Angeles, and I literally had my bra and panties on the back of the rental car drying, and I had completely transformed from having to have a plan and being worried to being a gypsy. So so when I'm in a day where I'm like working, it just gets me. And you know, your song is your song, but that's my song. So
that's awesome.
Whoever asked.
Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah. So so back to this piece. So you know, one of the things, especially when I am in real estate mode and I'm working with buyers, it'll be, you know, it's different there because they're looking at someone else's house and the spaces. But if I'm working with sellers, it's like really bringing out what they're, you know, the pieces that spark joy as they're decluttering to sell their home. The pieces that really spark joy for them are important because that energy is in the house that they're wanting to offer to a family or a new couple or a new single person or whoever it is. So, and it's, yeah, I don't have scientific research on it, but I'm telling you, I've seen time and time again where then when I'm working, bringing the buyer into their home, that, you know, there will be that piece that they put out and somebody, you know, will be, my gosh, I love that. Oh, it's so beautiful. And then, you know, it's exciting and fun for me because then I get to go back to the seller and say, they noticed it, they loved that piece. And so I really think I really like, you know, believe that this whole space thing and having, you know, things that bring you love or joy or a good memory or, our homes carry so much energy in them. So
what did you pick as your piece? Can I ask?
yes. So my piece that I picked is when I'm not out at the lake, it's a sign that says, nature is my home. And it's a picture of the mountains, which the Rockies are not far from where I am, and I love hiking, and I love going to the mountains and going on adventures. And summer or winter, I love, layering up and just going for long, like 5-6 hour hikes.
Yeah.
And then of course it reminds me of the lake too. So when I can't be there, I can look at that and I can be there.
Beautiful. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. And anyone else move to share the thing that they brought, that they picked? Anyone want to show it? Yeah, Celeste, you said something?
Well, this isn't the permanent thing.
Okay.
It's just something, this is my thing for today.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was a gift that was sent to me at work today, and that's really bringing me joy. And then I'm going to kind of duck out of the way and then give you a view of that. There's like many things there in my room. There's these hand drums, one that I made and one that somebody else made. This beautiful tie-dyed picture that a friend of mine, Tony, made.
Mm-hmm.
My Sri Yantra, my Buddha, and of course my hearts. I have hearts all around, and so yeah, it's just very important to me to be surrounded by beauty. I think it's super nourishing to my own life, and it's creating the sacred space wherever we are, and that when I have beauty in front of me, not only do I feel better, but I feel more creative. I feel more connected. And I've come to realize that it's essential to my being to have that connection. And I've kind of come to this rule that if I don't love it, if it doesn't bring me joy, if it's not beautiful, then it needs to move on and move out, and maybe somebody else will enjoy it. But it's that tapestry of, like you say, like the lighting, the smells, the sounds, the textures, all of that combined. And it's my home is my own little genie bottle, because it's where I feel nourished. It's my little magic, and it's the safe bubble, but it also sparks that joy and that creativity, and that creativity creates that connection, and that it's love in everything we do.
Love
and
it.
I think it's so important to have that at home.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love
Love
that
it.
too,
That's
Celine.
exactly true.
Really
And
well
I will
said.
share you my item. It's my little duster, because it makes me feel sassy. And it helps me clean my face. There, you're clean now. Everyone's dusted. You're well dusted now. But it does bring me that playfulness. And that is the thing that when I need playfulness and softness and that sense of purpose and cleanliness, this is the thing that comes to me. So I invite you to just hold on to the thing in your hand, hold the item in your hand. Touch it. If it's big and heavy, obviously you don't have to hold it, but if you can, holding the thing in your hand, that gives you that sense of nurture. And now as you tune in to the thing, so right now it's a feeling in my chest, just tuning into just that sense that this item gives you. It's a bit of a zing going on for me. That's how I'll describe that. And as you tune into that, notice what's happening in the body. What is it that you can sense going on inside the inner landscape? And as you tune into that, I invite you again, as we've done each night, is to reach out on your dial. There's a dial in front of you. So reach your hand out right now and grab this imaginary dial. And this dial says, this inspiration of this thing in your space, whatever that is. So mine is playfulness, for example. And now let's dial the volume up on that sense. Just dial it up until you can really feel something happening in the body. The dial is turning. Okay, so my whole heart's lifting up now. That's pretty good on the dial. And we don't have to go maximum, but I am definitely tuning into something quite playful and joyful inside. and noticing what's happening for you. And again, really feeling right into your your bones of your hand that you have the power in that hand to turn up the dial on nurture when you need to bring it closer to you, whether you have the item around or not. And that each thing in your house that you have chosen to bring into your space may or may not have that same resonance that you're feeling with the item that you chose. And tuning into what are the things that do hold it and what are the things that maybe have an inhibiting effect on that sense that you're getting now, that spark of joy. So anyone here want to share something that happened? What happened when they turned the dial up? What happened when they chose their thing? A story about their thing?
Yeah, I can say
I'm
something.
not in my, am I unmuted?
You're unmuted.
Okay. I'm in a strange room for me, and I was thinking, well, I don't know anything in this space. And then I realized I have my Starbucks cup with me. And and my Starbucks cup has traveled all over the world with me in many places, and sometimes it has mint tea for my tummy, and sometimes it has sleepy tea to help me to sleep, and sometimes it's got some porridge in it or some soup. And as I dialed it up, I realized I love my Starbucks cup. That feeling of I love my Starbucks, and I'm heartbroken when I lose them. I've had this one for quite a few years now.
Yeah, it's really the meaning that we imbue in the actual item that brings it more life, and so when we aren't doing that with the items in our home, then they're a bit of dead weight, right? They don't have that same supportive effect.
Yeah, and it's a very utilitarian item. It's not particularly beautiful, but it's extremely functional.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you brought forward this sense of how no matter where you are, it's a really I know Kirsty has said this so many times as well around creating this sense of sanctuary, and wherever you are, you can find a little bit of that. You can find the nourishment available. You can find the beauty coming in, and that is a real beautiful skill. Even as you're walking along, and sometimes maybe we're somewhere and we just see a rock, and it's like, oh, that's an unusual looking rock. It kind of looks like a heart, or oh, it's a kind of a really bright white. Like, what is that? And even those small things where we are nowhere where we've chosen anything, we can dial into something and turn that up if we need it. I've been in strange places where it wasn't comfortable and needed to tune into something that way. And I know, Kirsty, you travel a lot as well. And being able to...
I loved how you said it is everywhere. Like, I think of, I have this beautiful scarf, for example, that I got when I was traveling through India. And it brings me like the beauty and the comfort, and it's a scarf, so it's great for traveling. But I take that scarf everywhere with me, and it just makes me feel, sometimes I'll use it as a blanket, like if I'm, traveling or I'm on the plane, but there's something about, the beauty that it brings, the comfort, the nurture, like, the fact that it's traveled with me everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my traveling partner. So, and I loved also, it's so fun that you said, finding rocks that could be shaped like a heart. It just makes me think I was in Sedona, just in November, hiking. And there was one day that my colleague and I were hiking, and we were finding, like, we found one rock that was shaped like a heart. And then we started to find them. And like there were so many, and we were getting, like, we're giddy with joy, and we ended up with like carrying probably 15 or 10 pounds extra, both of us, because we had all these heart-shaped rocks that we ended up, and then we put them on the back of the rental car, and we just took a picture of it, and then we left the rocks because it was like we're not taking these rocks. But it was so much fun. Like, it was so I think it's really important that you say that joy can be sparked anywhere you are. You can find the beauty.
Yeah, it's an inside thing, right? This is, self-nurture, not as another thing to do, but as a way of being.
Yes.
So that we don't feel more overloaded with, oh yeah, well, I got to fit more into my day now. Oh yeah, because I need more self-nurture. So yeah, now I need to do this and that, and, start stacking the deck against ourselves in a way. And not to lean away from the foundational things that make us really come back to our center more quickly each day. We know some of those things and some of those foundational practices, the foundational routines, like sleep. I know Leela's a great, she always encouraged me, Shay, the 3 a.m. thing, right? The what is it, the circadian clock or whatever it is called, the circadian rhythm that we have. Yeah, and I think that those things are very important as a foundation, but to know that we can orient ourselves even if we're so tired that we had no sleep. If we can orient internally to what feels specifically nurturing to us, which is different for everyone, then that's when we can start to fill the cup. That's when our cup starts to be full more often, because it's a way of being. So it's always being full.
Yeah.
Always filling and filling. And as you turn the dial earlier, I encourage you, and I know I've said it, each night, but turning the dial can also turning the hose on, and filling that cup, right? So think of it that way, as you're turning up the volume on this thing that feeds your soul, or however you term it, that you can be turning the hose on and literally filling that cup with that. And for me, like, my heart lifted. My experience internally was my heart lifted. I literally felt more full. And I'm more energized now than I was at the beginning of the call. So just taking a one more last kick at the can here, grabbing onto your dial. And this time, the dial is just to see where you think you are on feeling nurtured. So, if you went all the way around, that would be full up to the top. So just seeing what your body wants to do, what the hand wants to do, and how far that dial wants to go, to see where are you. Oh, that's pretty good. I'm like 3/4 of the way. And anyone else want to share? Can you unmute everyone, Claire, once there, if you don't mind?
I'd like to share.
Yeah, go ahead, Christina.
I know we're over the hour, but I wanted to share that. So I had a temple called Inner Sanctuary, and it was the most beautiful, magical palace temple I could imagine. Every room was themed. Every room had a flavor, from the Kama Sutra room, ocean room, the forest room, and it was all really made out for each of those energies.
Yeah.
And then I had to let it go after a foreclosure. Right. So I went through that, and it was beautiful, and everything went, including the outer sanctuary and the ocean view and the hot tub. It was all beautiful. It was a goddess temple. And then everything went in storage, and I didn't know how long I'd end up in storage. And that was 2012. I only just got my stuff out of storage a couple months ago.
Wow.
I know, right? But for all that time, I was traveling and working and traveling and working, and I never settled down. I was gypsy, nomadic. But so I went from sleeping in the on the reserve, the native reserve in Squamish and Ireland, living in the jungle in Mexico,
Yeah.
never knowing where I was going to be the next night, let alone the next week or the next month or the next. I lived like this for 6.5 years now, but everywhere I went, I always took my own. I had an altar. That was the first thing I did, no matter what. And sometimes it was in the back of a car. I didn't know. Sometimes it was a 5-star. But so I always had it at my altar, and I set the space for anywhere I stayed. That was my space, and it was beautiful. I made it beautiful. I had fabrics, and I felt that was how I was able to navigate. Was always having this beautiful space of my own in somebody else's space, but I made sure that I had this altar, so that I had the traveling altar, and it changed. I take things away and add things and put them back in storage, and so I finally just got it all out of storage now, and I'm just like, it's like Christmas, because it's all beautiful to me again. And some things resonate, some things don't. But the crystals and the art that I had. And while I was traveling, I always gave people my art and let them use it for months at a time, so that it wasn't just
Thank you
packed away.
Thank you for that. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, and Christina, I loved that you brought up the altar, because like I have a lot of crystals, and I'll take some of those when I travel. Wherever I go, I take, not all of them, but the lighter ones. And I set them up in my hotel room. And so I love that you said that. Like, I just saw this altar in the back of your car, and that's fantastic. I love it.
Or backpack or whatever.
Great. And anyone else want to share any last words as we're closing up? We're a few minutes over the hour and we're dropping off. Anyone have anything else to share? Oh, Dorota, yes, we'll come back to you. Good.
Yeah. This phone that I'm talking to you on is resting against a candle, and the candle just smells absolutely gorgeous. And I bought this candle in a beautiful store in London called Liberty. And when I walked into that part of the store, the smells were just absolutely gorgeous. They were the nicest candles I'd ever seen. They're made in France. So I bought one, and it cost something ridiculous. I think the equivalent in Canada would be something like $200. And all my friends kept saying to me, "Are you completely out of your mind? How could you possibly spend that much on something?" This was 5 years ago, okay? And here is the candle. It's right there. For 5 years, I've had this candle creating this absolutely unbelievable fragrance in my home. And it's called Delhi. It's the smell of that city. Each candle is the smell of a particular city. So this is the candle that gives you the smell of the city of Delhi. So it's a beautiful fragrance. And everybody that comes into my home says, "Wow, what's that beautiful smell?" So it's about something that seemed to be so expensive, but then the cost per use is like cents.
Yes.
CENT. So yeah, something about having something of value that gives incredible value for time going on. And then this cushion here I got in a Goodwill store, and everybody loves it. So this cost almost nothing. So the value of something has nothing to do with the money that you spent on it. It's the joy that it brings.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be $2 in Delhi.
Okay, well, I'm so happy that you all turned up tonight. Thank you for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure to spend the time with you. Tomorrow is my 50th birthday.
Yay!
So I will be doing
birthday.
yeah, in just a few hours I will be the big 50 levels 50, as Celeste puts it. Thank you very much, level 50. And I think that after tomorrow's session there'll be a little after party, kind of, just a few minutes to hang out and just not to celebrate me, but to celebrate us as we move into our lives, further into our year, and just, you know, having our marker points, you know, knowing that those rituals and coming together in this way and where we're present to each other really is significant, and it has a meaning, a deep meaning. And certainly it's been an absolute pleasure for me the last 3 nights to be together with people that I cared dearly about, people that are new to my awareness, new to my life, that I'm getting to know more deeply as shared stories and all that. So thank you so much for being here. And I hope that you found some nurture tonight, just a little something for your effort of spending the hour here with us. Thank you so much, Shealagh.
Thank you.
Rhoda.
Have a good night.
All right. Take care, all. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Shay.
Thanks, Sheena.
Bye
Thank
for
you.
now.
Thank you so much,
That was
Kirsty.
lovely.
Oh, thank you. Mwah.
Thank you.